Hey all, we are on our very first podcast. I am going to invite my dear friend Priscilla to jump on and join me so that she can host this puppy. Hang on just a second. All right, are we on, Priscilla? Here we go. So in just a minute, you're going to see her pop on, and just wanted to thank you for jumping on our very, very first podcast. It's a live podcast, and there she is. Hello, Priscilla.
Hi, let me just fix something here.
Okay, you do what you need to do, and I'm going to just talk about influence community and what we're going to do with this podcast, and then I'll introduce you as the host, and then Priscilla will take over from there, and we're just going to have a great night together. And we want to value your time. Part of the vision that God had given me way back when he started planting seed in my heart about Influence Conference, and had no idea what it was going to be called or what it was really going to look like. But I knew that above all, I wanted to have a group of women that were a community together. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, lived in very many states, so I have connections all over the country, and I wanted to bring all my women friends together and encourage them. I remember when I was in Kentucky that I had this dream of doing something like on my back patio where I would invite women that were working to come for lunch, and we would have tea, and then it was like refresh, renew, recharge. I had all these R words. And with Influence Community Podcast, I want to engage with you so we can build community. I want to encourage you. I want to empower you to be the best that you can be. And I want you in turn to do that back with me and Priscilla. So this is our first one. Priscilla Baez actually lives in New Hampshire. I met her in 2012. Am I right? Somewhere around there?
Yep.
Yep.
It
at a women's conference.
It was October.
It was awesome. It was a Shine Women's Conference that Granite United, Christy Milas puts on every year, and I've had the honor to be there a boatload of times and love going. And Priscilla and I just connected. And then last November, we were at the same thing. Oh, it's
angry faces.
My mom can't listen because she's at a concert at church, but she's watching. That's hilarious. I love you, Mom. She'll see you later. But I met Priscilla in 2012 there, and we just connected. And then last year, Priscilla interviewed me at the Shine Conference in 2016, and we just had this really cool connection, and just the wheels started turning in my heart and in my mind, because I have always been about investing in other people and in the younger generation. Did youth ministry so much of my life, and I feel like my job is to pass the torch on and to empower and encourage. And Priscilla is an incredible woman of God, and she is the campus pastors with her husband Juan in New Hampshire at Granite. So they do all the cool kind of Facebook Live and all that fun stuff for the campus, and she is knocking it out of the park for Jesus, and so excited about that. So Priscilla's going to host this puppy, and eventually you'll meet. This time it's just her and I, but we will be introducing other people to you and hearing from other influencers. So watch out. We might be giving you a call to be on one of the podcasts coming up, right?
Better watch it.
You never know.
You could be next. We may hijack you.
Right. That is right, for sure.
So let's see who we have on here. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my computer. So just checking to see who we have here. So I see we have Lois. We have Jan. So if you guys can just post, like, where are you watching from? Like, show us. Have some conversation with us. Because Marie might know you, but I sure don't. So I'd love to kind of get to know you. You know, maybe you can post where you're from. where you're watching from, and maybe something unique about yourself, so that I can kind of get to know you, because I'd love to get to know you as well. So it'd be kind of neat.
Absolutely.
I think Sherry's on. Hi, Sherry. It's so much fun. I think Sheila.
So if they don't hit like, or if they don't comment, we don't necessarily know that they're on, correct?
We may know that they're on, but just like anything else, I always tell people when I'm doing lives, like, it might seem like we're energetic because we're behind a camera, but at the end of the day, it's actually quite boring on this side. So, we want people to have conversation, enjoy,
Gotcha.
kind of have a good time with us, so that we can kind of get to know you. So you got to have conversation. Throw me some hearts, some likes or whatever. There's Wendy. What's up, Wendy? She's from Granite. I see Sheila's on here. Sheila's one of my co-partners now. She's the campus pastor for our Lowell campus. Whoa, whoa.
That's so exciting. So New Hampshire and Granite is showing up tonight. Love it.
Yes, we got my sister-in-law from Massachusetts is watching, I see. We got the awesome Stacy McCain in the house.
Hello, Stacy. Very cool. Very, very cool. So Lois, I just saw a comment from her. She's from Pennsylvania, and her and I grew up together. So we went to church together as kids, and I have known her since I was a toddler. So it's really cool that you're on, Lois. Yeah, very, very cool. Love the connection that we can have one with another, for sure. Very, very important. Love that. Yeah, it's good. So with the engaging with Influence Conference, or Influence Community now from the conference, which was incredible and exciting. I have a team of women that God put together, and I think I told some of you about this. They're called the Gatekeepers, and some of these ladies that are on tonight are part of that team. Priscilla is part of that team, and it's the team that helps move this ball down the court and helps us with the conferences, and also with the podcast, the Bible studies that we're wanting to do in 2018, different things that are happening there. And God just brought this group of women together, and we have united and bonded, and we want to extend that to this community, to where the love that God has given us one for another can grow. And I think a lot of people think, what kind of an influence do I have? I see Jan is on here, and I met Jan in Cincinnati when we moved there. She was in the choir with me, her and her sister Sharon, called them my sister friends. And then when I had a Sunday school class, she was in Sunday school with me. We did the gifts test. And Jan, if you don't mind, I'm going to tell on you. She said, I don't have any gifts. And I said, no, everybody has gifts. God has gifted everybody, and she was a little hesitant about taking the gifts test. And it was so cool, her response and reaction after she saw that she truly had some gifts. And she's part of the Gatekeepers team. And Jan is a prayer warrior. She's a behind the scenes kind of person, and just so valuable to the ministry and to the team. So when you think about being a woman of influence, I believe with all my heart that if you're breathing, you have influence. And when you think about that, what do you, Priscilla, think about being a woman of influence? What does that mean to you, or what does that look like to you in your everyday life?
Well, I think when I first started in ministry, people used to always kind of say like, oh, use your influence, and use it for the greater good. And I was kind of like, I don't know that I had that much influence, and it took a while for me to kind of really understand what that meant. And I think that the best way to describe influence is that if you're a person that has a good heart and you have a good ear, and people come to you because you give great advice, or you're just easy to talk to, you have influence. Even if it's one person. I think that when people look at the word influence, you assume it means like having influence over hundreds of people. And it's really not the case. It's really having influence over one person makes a difference in this world. And I think it kind of like snowballs. So for me, I feel like it's really more about what can you do in smaller pockets, because I feel like what you can do in smaller pockets is actually better and more productive, I should say, than something that you might be able to do in bigger pockets, because you don't necessarily always see the fruits of your love towards one another, the grace that you extend, the love that you extend to others when it's over, masses of people. But when you have smaller pockets, you kind of get to see how maybe that one thing that you did do helped that one person that one day, you know,
Right.
and that's for me is having influence.
That's good, because it is in the ordinary, everyday living that we have the most influence, you know. And in Mark, Jesus said, go into all the world, you know, preach the good news. And that comes from just loving people, not standing on a soapbox on the corner screaming, Jesus loves you, but just in the grocery store, in the mall, in your child's school, when you're picking them up or dropping them off or whatever it is, just sharing and showing the love of God. Here's a really cool thing that just happened today. Actually, from Shine 2016, a memory popped up this morning for me, and just I was very emotional about it. Kind of went on about my day, and then I got that I was tagged in a post, and it was Amber from the Shine conference who got saved in one of the sessions, which in a women's conference thing doesn't always happen like that. And she had come to buy a book, and I was signing her book, and her friend said that she had just gotten saved that session. Well, that just lit me. I mean, it just made me on fire. It was very, very exciting. So her and I connected, and then we had this real intimate, we had to move from the large group room, and we had to go into a smaller room for our very last session. So we didn't have the music, we didn't have the lights, we didn't have all the splash, but we had the most incredible, intimate time with Jesus in that room. It was beautiful. Women, I had asked women to pray all over and so different campuses were getting together and praying, and we prayed over all the campus pastors. Well, I had the opportunity to just hug and love on Amber, and someone captured that picture of me hugging her. One of the most beautiful memories to me of ministry ever. But the cool thing is, when Amber posted that, someone responded to it and said, we have been investing in her since then. She's grown in the Lord. So the little seed, someone planted the seed, brought her to the conference. I watered the seed. God gets the increase. And then how cool that they took it, and they were very intentional about discipling and investing in this precious soul to grow in a relationship with Jesus. And that's what influence is all about. There's so many different women that are touching her life, you know, and giving influence. Sheila Lapa saying yes with all capitals and exclamations, because she lives that.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I love what Lois just said. It's almost like a living testimony. That couldn't be more spot on, Lois, because you know, when you have Jesus in your heart, you don't have to try. You don't really have to try to be influential, because at the end of the day, just living life, you know, our pastor's always talking about how when this relationship from up and down, which is with us, with God, intensifies, it grows, then everything forward is going to eventually grow too, because what's in your heart is what's going to come out. So that's why you have to keep God focused first. You know, your first focus has to be God, because the rest will just count. It'll just happen. And it's like you said, it's the day-to-day things that you do. I mean, people who know you, I mean, we all have a past. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't have a past, right? So if someone knows you from before, and perhaps maybe you weren't like, you know, I hate to admit, I wasn't always the sweetest person ever. You know, I was sometimes quick with my tongue.
Can't imagine.
So, you know, I was sometimes quick with my tongue, and, you know, God taught me that wasn't okay, you know, and that was kind of how I started to really see the change in myself. And then all of a sudden, like, I'd be going places, and, you know, people would be like, something's different about you, or I'd be at Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, we're all creatures of habit, so I'd go to the same Dunkin' Donuts every day, so you get to know the staff. And I remember one time I went in, and this one lady said, one of the cashiers said to me, she goes, why are you always smiling? And I'm like, I don't know. I go, I have Jesus in my heart, and there's really nothing not to smile about. You know, I'm always smiling. And so it was just kind of funny. And that, in reality, maybe that was what she needed that day. Maybe she needed a customer who wasn't going to be cranky because they didn't get their extra sugar or their turbo shot in their coffee. Perhaps she just needed someone who was going to smile. And so I think that's a really big deal. So, you know, talking about, you know, having a living testimony is spot on, because it really is your story. It's your life.
It is. So then in that, we're not perfect. You're telling this story about the lady and being a living testimony. And it reminded me of a story when my kids were little. And I'm sure you've heard me tell it because it was so like a defining moment for me. Emily and I were just rushing, hustling. She was probably 2, going to the bank and the grocery and the library and all the places we had to go for our errands. And I remember putting her in a car seat and, whew, Emily, we gotta go, and jumped in, take off. And I look in my rearview mirror and she's going, I am so stressed. That's what she said, 2 years old.
Oh.
And I was influencing her. Her sweet, calm, gentle spirit was becoming anxious and stressed because of what I was putting on her and the influence that I had for her that day. And it was the biggest light bulb. And then she said, I don't even have my lipstick.
Oh, no.
She saw her mom, you know, what her mom loved, the influence I'm having on her. So even in our mistakes and in our losing our temper or not being the influence, God shows us when he's in our heart. He shows us and arrests us. So then we can either be too proud to make a change and continue to be a negative influence, or we can say, you know what, I am so wrong and I am so sorry that I lost my temper, that I was short with you. Whether it's a toddler or whether it's a grown adult, we need to learn how to apologize when we're not the influence we need to be. And that shows, you know, we're not perfect. We're just saved by grace, and it's his blood that covers us, you know?
Absolutely.
And we grow every day in the Lord.
It's all you can do. You know, you can't really get so focused on the mistakes you make today, because that's why God gives us a new day. You know, I feel like women are so hard on themselves, and myself included. I think I'm like the poster child for someone who's so hard on herself, because if things don't happen a certain way, I'm like, oh, you know, I just get so frustrated and I get so down, and I'm like, but that's not the way it was supposed to be. And then sometimes it takes my husband to be like, well, maybe that's just because that's not what God wanted. God wanted it to be this way, you know. And sometimes I have to say, okay, you know what, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what, you can try better tomorrow. And so you just have to kind of sometimes have a little bit of, you know, a little bit of leeway, you know, give yourself a little bit of a break, because I think that sometimes we can portray some of those things. And if we're always focused on the negative, then that's what's going to influence everybody around us. If you're always, you know, complaining and woe is me and oh my gosh, and this happened today and that happened, and it's like that's all people hear, then that's what you're going to project. But if you're talking about like, you know what, I came to work this morning with 2 different shoes, but guess what? I got my coffee and I'm ready to start my day. Yeah, you might look like a clown, but you know, you just look at the positive stuff and just be like, whatever, you know, I'm always up for a good laugh. And so sometimes, you know, it happens.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. So going into Thanksgiving, thinking about that, when I think about negative and woe is me, and I think about all those difficult people that we deal with in our families, we all have them. Those that when they walk in the room, you're like, oh, what is she going to say about me this time? What is her attitude going to be towards me? Right? So I think maybe preparing ourselves ahead of time is a good thing. I used to tell my kids, if I do this, just like shake it off and walk away. It's not worth it. Don't let it get under your skin. They act that way to everybody. It's not you, it's them. Just shake it off, you know? So I think if we think about being an influence, if we go into the holiday season, seeing some people that we don't normally see that might be a little bit difficult to deal with, go in ahead of time with Jesus in our heart and letting his love shine through, they're going to see a difference. You know, whether they ever treat you different or not, they're going to see a difference. So,
and at the end of the day, you're from...
Go ahead.
No, and then you can feel good knowing that you didn't break your character. You stayed who you were. Amen. You know, that's a big one, because it's like sometimes we get disappointed in ourselves because we allowed someone to take us there, you know, after we really tried so hard to prepare. And it's like, oh, she made me go there again. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're just so hard on yourself. But when you're able to just be steadfast and just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you know whether she or he is affected by it or not, just knowing that you maintain that calmness, that you were who
Amen.
you were supposed to be, that is like a success and a half. You know what I
It
mean?
sure
You can
is.
definitely keep
Sure
going with
is.
that one. That's a victory for sure.
That is so true. So you're from Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Right? You're my Latino connection that makes amazing rice and beans for me. And
That's what I'm known for.
Trace
Tres
Kate.
leche.
There you go. Oh my goodness, I can't even say that. Beautiful. And I'm Italian. So for Thanksgiving, for me growing up, raviolis and meatballs were like a part of the tradition and still are. And homemade raviolis where we get together as a family. When Kent and I were married, he jumped in on that tradition with me and helped me make ravioli and meatballs, and we'd have the turkey and all that too. But the main thing that we were looking forward to was ravioli meatball. What about you? Is there a different tradition that you do?
So there is, however, you're going to laugh. I'm actually more of a traditional Thanksgiving girl. I like my turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes. I think I'm the only one in my family who likes stuffing, so my mother makes it just for me. And I like the cranberry sauce. But in typical Puerto Rican tradition, we do what the pork shoulder, which is pernil, and there's always rice. So there's always going to be white rice and with beans, and there's always going to be time of the year is what we call pastel.
Okay, I lost you.
Oh, there we go. Is that better? Okay. So another thing that, and then what you start seeing this time of year is what they call pasteles. So pasteles are, it's like a mix of, gosh, my sister-in-law, if she's on here, please correct me, because my mother-in-law this is what she's known for. So that's her thing. It's like a mix of like, it's like a mix of like yuca with jautilla, which is like, these are all like roots. And then you put them like in this like blender, and then you cook, you use like pork shoulder meat, and you kind of put it all, and then you wrap it up in like this leaf, and then you basically boil them. And then you eat them, and they're really soft. They're so good. I've never tried to make them because it's like a day-long process. I'm sure it's kind of like making meatballs and sauce. It's like the preparation itself is hours, you know, but you'll see people selling them at this time of year, making them. And when she makes them, she makes us bundles, and I can bring them home, and I get to freeze them and cook them, and I make them last till like April. So that's
awesome. That's awesome.
But
so Lois likes sweet potato pie. If you're on, comment below.
Oh yeah,
like what you eat. I think Stacy said she loves the stuffing.
And Lois likes juca. You like juca? That's good.
Oh, I've never had it. I want to like it too.
It's
so
good.
Butternut squash with pure maple syrup.
Wendy, I'm coming over.
That sounds amazing.
It does sound really good.
Yeah, that sounds really. So my mother-in-law doesn't make the normal stuffing like we do in Pennsylvania. My mom makes stuffing. My mother-in-law makes dressing balls, they're called. And it's made from cornbread, and then you use the turkey gravy, and it's like a dressing ball, and then you put the gravy over top of it. It is so incredible. They're like addicting. So good. Never had them until I married Kent. Hot bacon dressing is a Pennsylvania Dutch. Sheila is asking that. It's a Pennsylvania Dutch dressing. Am I right, Lois? And it is so very yummy.
It sounds good.
Yeah,
it sounds really good. Now, do you even get to enjoy it?
Do I get to enjoy the dressing balls? I get to enjoy the dressing balls because they have cornbread. They're not white flour. Because I can't do gluten, I don't do ravioli anymore. That's a shame. Like, that's really sad.
I heard you talk. I remember when you told us about that at Shine.
Yeah. I cried.
Let's see. Sheila says she fasted all day. We haven't had dinner yet, and so she's dying. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sheila.
I'm sorry to be talking about food, Sheila.
We probably should have given a warning.
Yeah, we probably should have, for sure. Oh, my word. So our time is kind of limited. One of the things, two more things we were going to talk about, Priscilla, and the one thing was the Friendsgiving. This is like a new thing. Do you all do that?
So I'm going to try to do one this year, but a few of us do it at church. At our church, actually, you know who does it the most? Small groups. So
Okay.
the small groups that meet, they have like they'll end the semester because we typically end around this time of year, so that no one's kind of meeting in December because it's so busy. So what they
Okay.
typically do is their last small group session will usually be like a Friendsgiving.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, so we're thinking of hosting one this year with our friends, our crew, that's who we travel with to Pennsylvania. But so we're thinking
That is
about hosting
awesome.
one of those. But I see them all the time. I think I love it. I love the
I've
idea
been
of it.
seeing it on Instagram and different things, and I like Rebecca Lyons. Thank you, Sheila, for posting that link. And she did on Instagram. She had said she has a free download for Friendsgiving. So if you go and hit that link, it's like place cards that you can print off the whole menu and the recipes that she uses. She makes it like super easy. And then even like questions and things to spur conversation with your Friendsgiving. So I thought that would be a cool thing to share, because we definitely want to share things and leave you with some really good nuggets. And if you're doing Friendsgiving, I would totally jump over to that. I downloaded it and sent it to Emily, my daughter, because she's going to do a Friendsgiving. I thought it is such a cool.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. So Wendy's asking what shoe fly pie is, because Lois is sitting there with the shoe fly pie, which is another Pennsylvania Dutch dessert that's incredible. And it's like a spice cake on top, and then like a molasses on the bottom in a pie shell. And it's really, really good. And I'm sure that Lois would share a recipe on here on the comments. You could definitely do that, Lois, later for sure, because Wendy might want to try that.
So does that mean that next time I go to Pennsylvania, someone's gonna make all this stuff for me to try?
Absolutely. So we've got shoe fly pie and funny cake and all the Pennsylvania Dutch stuff. And then you have all the amazing cheesesteaks that are just like known to Philadelphia.
I know, I didn't get one.
Yeah, we definitely, yeah, you need to go back to Pennsylvania for sure. Which Influence Conference is coming to Pennsylvania October 5th and 6th. So we'll definitely be back. So save that date for sure.
Yes.
Excited.
I'll be making sure I have a list of foods that I need during my stay there.
That's right.
And this time I'll take my minivan. And I'll make sure I take my minivan this time, so when I go shopping, we're not sitting like a bunch of weirdos with stuff like crouching in between every like nook and cranny that we had.
You can buy all you want. That's so true.
I know. I need to go shop. There was so many nice things. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to just take a trip back just for shopping.
Well, I know that they would welcome you with open arms for sure. Absolutely. So in closing, we've got some exciting things, right? So our Influence Conference .us website now has a store.
Yep.
So you can purchase some of the gear from the conference, which we're really excited about. So tell them what we're going to do.
So we're going to be doing a raffle, but I got to show off some of this like swag, because it's really nice swag. So I have, surprisingly enough, I actually don't have my Influence shirt because I just used it the other day, so it's in the laundry. But I use it all the time, so that's the reason why I don't have it. But I definitely want to share this beautiful bracelet that I absolutely love. Look at this. It's a really cute bangle. It's got a little key for the Gatekeepers, which I thought was really sweet. And of course, you've got your cross, and then you have, of course, you need the brand, right? That says Influence on it right there. So this is like one of a kind. I mean, you gotta get you one of these. It's really cute. And then this. Oh, Lois wants Spanish food. Oh yeah, we'll totally trade Lois. Absolutely.
You can have shoe fly pie, and she'll have Spanish food.
Yes.
Susan from Ohio is on. Hi, Susan. Just met her the other day. You will love her, Priscilla. She's an incredible woman, doing great things for God.
So exciting. Awesome. At some point, we're going to have some kind of like reunion here, because there's so many wonderful women on this page. I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
And then we have this beautiful necklace that says Influence on the cross. It's really pretty. I wear it all the time. It's very simple, goes with everything, which is what I love about it. And so that is also going to be available, as well as the Influence shirt, which I mean, I can't imagine you didn't see the thousands of pictures that we posted during Influence Conference. So I'm sure you saw them at some point or another.
That's right.
But very nice shirts. The cotton is super soft. It's fitted. It's not like your average t-shirt. It's like a really nice, good quality shirt, which is why I like wearing it. V-neck, which, you know, you got to have a V-neck.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Great Christmas
great idea.
gifts.
Yes. Yes.
Sharon said,
I'm with
very
you on
good,
that one,
Sharon.
Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
So they go to the website?
Yep. And you're gonna click on shop now and go ahead and shop away.
Awesome.
I think, you know, you definitely won't regret it. It's amazing. So feel free, and hopefully soon our Facebook page will have the shop now button as well. So I think we'll be able to hopefully link it there. And the more you ladies show interest, the more swag we can have. You know, we talked about adding water bottles and cute mugs and all kinds of stuff. So the ideas are endless, but we got to make sure that people are interested. So we got to, you know, put those ideas out there, ladies.
That's right. That's right. So because it's our first podcast, we're going to give away an Influence t-shirt.
What?
Yeah. So what did we say they were going to have to do? We talked about a couple things. What did we end up with?
So we decided that we were going to do, so everyone here has to share this video on your personal pages. So that's number one. And then we would like to see you and then post, like, you know, that you did it. And we're going to go on trust here, ladies. So that you did 2 invites to the group, to our community group. So we want everyone here. Once you've done that, come back on this video, hit all done, and we will go ahead and put you in a raffle, and then we will announce it on the community page.
Awesome. Very good. So they have to share the video we're doing now, the podcast, and they have to invite 2 friends to the Influence community page to join it.
Yep.
Okay. And then they come back to this and do all done?
And put done. And then
Lois says she's already got it done. That's hilarious.
There you go, Lois. I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Yep. So we'll put the names in, and once we draw them, you'll post on the community page who won?
Yep. And then we'll hopefully we'll contact that person. If we don't have your information, we'll get your information, send you your swag.
Very good. How exciting. So Sheila is going to post on here. I don't know if she did already, but she's going to post the link to the page. So for sure, look for that on there. And I know I want to be so sensitive to your time, and thank you so much for jumping on. And we'll do this again in December. Help me out with the date.
It was Thursday. Hold on, because of course I'm on my phone, so I have to look at the calendar. Give me one sec.
Aren't we so used to our phones these days?
It's so bad, but I had it on my phone. So we went with, where are we?
Thank you, Sheila, for posting that link.
Did we say the 14th?
The 14th, that's it. December 14th, we'll do another podcast. So make sure that you are available there. We'll probably do another giveaway because we're close to Christmas. And then and we'll have a guest on that one too, because we're going to figure out how to do the guests, and you'll get to meet more of the gatekeepers, and we'll get to meet some of you. So be looking out for that. And on the December the 14th, and we'll post when that is, but just go ahead and put that in your reminders so you can be a part of this podcast. Thank you for your time and your love, Priscilla.
This was fun.
I love you. It's been fun.
It was fun.
I enjoy
doing it live like this is way better than doing it by yourself.
This is true. Having you on is much better. Being with you in person would just be the ultimate. So we'll have to make that happen.
We'll have to make that happen. We'll have to do a live together from one location.
That would be cool. Wouldn't that be fun? Man, we've got all these done. Kathy Mormon and Susan McPherson said done. And then I think Krista said done. So we'll be looking at the comments, and we'll be drawing that for sure. Love you guys so much. Have a great night.
Thank you, ladies. And happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. Happy yucca. What's it called that you eat?
Juka.
Juka. Happy Juka. There you go. Enjoy. There you go. I love you, Priscilla. Love you guys.
I love you too, girl.
Talk soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.